Did it not do the countdown? Guess it didn't do a countdown.
It's doing it. I'm so glad it brought us back up because I'm fiddling with buttons like it kicked me off stage. What's up, man?
Bruh, I feel like I'm behind.
You, did you freeze? I think you froze up.
Yeah, I think it's frozen. I don't know what's going on.
I got you good now. Oh, you got that internet where you got to choose whether you want to be on the phone or be on the internet.
Yeah, basically, that's what's going on right now. I don't know. I think somebody's using too much of my Wi-Fi. Somebody probably try to jack me.
If you don't get out of that introductory Wi-Fi package and get you an adult package,
Bruh. Yeah, what's going on?
the 3
Anyway,
megabyte package.
hey man, they told me it was buy 2 gigs, get 1 free, man. So listen, I got it. Man, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Full Menu Podcast. We were on a little hiatus. I was on vacation. Otis has been busy. I've been busy. We've just been doing our damn thing and grinding. So listen, wanted to come back, kind of a spur of the moment type discussion, but it's we Otis and I have been talking about getting back on here and doing something. So it's not our normal time. We gotta figure that out, but we will. No, but this topic may ruffle some feathers.
We schedule every time one of us gets mad about something, we just do a podcast. That's the schedule. Do you know what this month did to me? Okay, let's go. Get to the computer.
I want to do a podcast. That's what we're doing. No, it's funny because I don't know. I don't know. I believe in energy, bro. I think it was funny because you sent me that topic, and it was literally like something I was just thinking about recently. And I recorded a video of me talking about boundaries and like how when you have to protect your boundaries and create your boundaries, if people don't really respect that, then you gotta let some people go. But yeah, it's just happened to be on.
I like how you said that. I sent you the topic. I was gonna lie and say you made up the topic, and you just took that away from me.
I know you were. I
was gonna throw you under the bus. Donovan be tripping with these topics. I wanted to talk about Greek literature.
I want to talk about real estate today.
No, it's good though because we talk about business so much, and these are conversations that come up among men much of the time, and we're big on men's mental health, right? Which I think we don't spend enough time focusing on. I do want to put more time and energy into that, and there's some conversations that are kind of taboo, and the fact that they're taboo means that they're not being had. And I think a lot of situations would benefit if people could actually have honest conversations. So I'm not really, I'm too old to care about ruffling people's feathers. If you got some healing to do, then you need to be off the computer and go work on that healing, or off of Instagram or TikTok or wherever you're seeing that. But I still want to maintain a certain level of, I'm talking about me personally, even having these conversations, I still try to maintain a certain level of professionalism so we don't kind of isolate any of the audience. And this is going to be replayed, a bunch of different times. So I want to make sure that people actually get the value of it.
Replayed.
Yeah. If I ever run for president, some of these conversations are going to come up.
Am I still echoing? Somebody said I was echoing on IG.
Nah, I don't hear you. I don't hear you echoing.
I don't know. Let's see, I'll go on Facebook and see if anybody's telling me anything. Nah.
It's probably just compared to my voice, because my voice is so sultry and soulful. It's probably relative to me. You probably sound like an echo.
Well, you were a dropout of the Junior Temptation, so I do remember you said you did try out for that cheer squad back in high school. So
I didn't drop out. I got kicked out because I couldn't fit them tight pants. So it was, it is what it is. But we're here now.
You're here now, man. You made it. You finally made it.
Right. You want to tell them what the topic
here today is, like I said, as we talked about earlier, why commitment feels risky and how women can help men through it. So fear of commitment, the relationship dynamic, and the women's role emotionally inside of that is going to be a huge topic, right? So I really want women to kind of like don't tell it to where it's standpoint of like you're trying to fix something, but it's really more of like, hey, take a an ear to, right? Listen to what we're trying to say, and if you feel you can apply that or do something with it later on, then by all means, go ahead and do it. So let's
Yeah.
see. We're going to talk about this one. This one is again, for those who are new to the Full Menu Podcast is basically, again, it's the space where we allow men to have conversations about all different kinds of topics, but mainly around relationships, around, just spaces in which we feel that we don't have a whole lot of voice inside of those things, and especially for Black men. But again, but men of all colors in general. Um, Again, so we're giving that safe space. We're creating that space for us to have these conversations, to be vulnerable, to be very open and honest in regards to how we feel about these topics. This one in particular, right? So I'm going to open this one up to you, Otis. Um,
Yeah.
why do you feel commitment can feel like a trap to men?
So, so let me make the distinction. It doesn't feel like a trap to me now, but I've also evolved into who I am right now. And there was times in my life where it would feel like the gain just wasn't worth the risk. So it wasn't as because and when you talk about commitment, are you talking about a committed relationship, or are you talking about in the context of marriage? Because those are two totally different conversations. So in the you know in a committed relationship, I felt like I just had to give up too much for the benefit of this one person, and it I just it, I just didn't see the benefit, right? Because and this is I can go back to I think my early 30s when I really started to kind of change and that shift kind of happened more towards who I am now. But up to that point, and I'll acknowledge that a lot of the things that we enjoy doing were very, very destructive, right? So I'm not saying I'm not saying that we were out there as choir boys, just but there were certain things that that we just enjoyed in the single life, whether they're destructive or not, that we didn't want to give up. And you know, not all, I don't think all men are like that. I think
Like
that
what?
like you're like like what? I don't
Yeah,
know, threesomes, yeah, threesomes, right? I know a lot of dudes are into that. See, you're gonna put me on the spot. I'm gonna tell you the truth. But there's a lot of things out there that men can live their lives and live that you only live once type of situation. And then when you get into a committed relationship, especially as at a younger age, I think it's a lot harder. As you get older, you kind of fall into the man you're going to be, and you kind of reprioritize some things, and you see things differently, right? So 28-year-old me, 38-year-old me, and 49-year-old me are going to have three completely different perspectives. So when you ask me that question, I'm answering as 28-year-old me, and probably 30 something year old me, to be honest with you. Now I see the challenges are different, because now in a committed relationship, it's not so much as what are you giving up, it's hey, I can do everything that I want with this one person. So then the conversation shifts to, is that unfair for me to put all that on this one person? So I'll
Mhm.
give you an example, right? We're sitting there listening to watching the Diddy trial,
Oh God.
watching the Diddy trial, and he's accused of some horrible things, right? Obviously, no reasonable person would agree with a lot of the things that he's being accused of. Again, I'm not saying whether he did it or not. I'm just saying what he's being accused of. I'm not there in the trial. But there was a couple things that when I was reading them transcripts that I don't want to look to the side and make no eye contact, because I was like, mm, I'm kind of into that too. I was like, I'm not good. I was watching TV just like this. I didn't
Can
even
you believe
blink. I think a fly crawled across my eye. I didn't even blink. It was that bad.
like you from Somalia for a little bit?
Yeah, but then it's so but then I started thinking in the context of a committed relationship, what is there's got to be a balance. Like, what's the limit? Now, I'm not peeing on nobody, right? But so I'm not talking about stuff like that. But I'm talking
No.
about, if when you ask a woman, hey, do you want, like, if you ask a woman about her man and you say, hey, do you want to be his everything? Most of the time they say yes. I'm like, do
Hmm.
you really though? I mean, do you really want you everything? 'Cause I don't think you understand
I mean,
what
but is
everything
that the
may be.
question of, do you really want to, or can you? Like, I don't believe everybody can be, one person can be everything for one, can be everything for somebody, and that's
I
okay. I don't
agree.
think that's a bad thing.
Well, I agree, and I don't think one person is supposed to be somebody's everything, right?
Right.
But are you willing to fill in the gaps for those things that we were kind of enjoying out? And there are some women that do. Like, there's so many different dynamics in different relationships. There's some people that are straight, straight edge, just no coloring outside the lines. And then you got the opposite end of the spectrum where they're swingers, right? So I tell people, look, do whatever works for you. But if you're in a committed relationship
What
with
makes you
somebody,
happy?
what makes you happy? But if
Mhm.
you're in a relationship with somebody and you're not, and you guys don't share the same perspective on that, then it could go really, really bad, because you may have one person trying to do something just to please the other person. And I don't think that's healthy either, right? But I think
Yeah.
those are some of the internal conversations that men have. And is sex everything? No, absolutely not. But when you don't have it, you know what I'm saying? Water isn't everything either.
Yeah.
But let me cut off the plumbing. See how your quality of life. You see what I'm saying?
I don't need that
So,
damn water. I bet you will. I'll flush this toilet.
so you got to be able to have the honest conversation. And some women have a hard time having an honest conversation because they tend to make it about themselves. Not all women, but enough to warrant mentioning it. So a lot of men don't feel like they can have those honest conversations with their significant other.
Right.
But at least, even if you decide not to move forward with any of the stuff that you want to introduce to the relationship, if you can't even have the conversation, your relationship is doomed, right? So so that conversation can be about sex, but the willingness to have it is about feeling safe and trusting and having a space where you can trust each other to be open and honest, right? And some men feel like they can't do that. So, and another part of that is, uh, you know, men having to ask for it from their significant other. And I think that's one of the things. And I talk to my friends all the time, right, about all this stuff. This is we and when a man has to ask, it makes him feel like less of a man. And I don't think women really understand that. And that can
Mm.
kill a situation also, because there's a pride thing, and there's a lot of things that make men feel like men that you can take away if you don't respond in a way that is conducive to making him feel like desired in a man, right? And I'm only speaking from the male perspective. I know women have needs too, and we don't always meet their needs, but that's not the topic of conversation right now. So men cheat. And if you're having to go through this in a situation where your expectation is that this person is going to fill in the gap for all of those needs in that area, and they're not, or you have to ask, or there has to be some type of process, or and there's a pattern of that, not just, oh, I had to ask one time so I'm gonna go cheat. I'm talking about a pattern over time. Then I think the relationship diminishes really, really quickly before people realize that. And the world we live in now, which I'm glad I ain't out there now, boy, but the world we live in now, there's people out there willing to do that, right? And and a lot of these things are fixable with just a simple conversation.
I completely agree with you on the conversation aspect. I think that I think a lot of men feel as though they are giving up something when they do commit, right? Like, there is the fear of the unknown, or is the fear of, like, okay, that am I making the right decision, or is this the person that, is she going to be the person for me? Um, And I think that is one of the bigger things too. Is just the it's it's almost I think with the introduction of like social media and and the ability to connect with different people in different places, and it has opened up a lot of a lot of people's minds and like finding this perfect person. I feel like that's what most of the time it is. We're looking for somebody that's perfect, and that's not real, right? No one's going to check all the boxes. No one's gonna be everything for you, right? But the biggest thing is like it's truly going to be is like what are you willing to accept, and not accepting to say like, oh, well, I guess I'll accept this. um they can't cook. I can accept that. That's something different versus, well, um, they're broke, or I can't accept that. Whatever, because it's entirely dependent on the person and the individual. What are you looking for, and what are you willing to accept? Like, what are your non-negotiables, and what are some things that you can be a little more flexible with, right? And that's entirely up to the individual. For me, I don't care if a woman has money. I don't care if a woman is, if she got I really don't care, to be honest with a lot of things. It's really more the person, individual, and how I feel with them, and if I feel safe. Because there are times where I've been in situations where I don't feel that this person truly um, has my best has my best intentions in order to make it comfortable for me. And if I feel that way, if I don't feel safe, I'm definitely going to pull away.
So I think that is I think that's a common thing in the boyfriend girlfriend situation, right?
Right.
So again, I think the expectations should shift depending on how serious the relationship is. Like if you've been dating someone for 6 months, I mean, you ain't supposed to. You guys don't even. It takes
You
a
don't
lot
know
longer
each
than
other.
that to right. You
Absolutely,
don't
yeah.
know each other, right? But if you've been with somebody 5 years and you have children and a family,
That's different.
that's different because there are certain things and compromises that a man is willing to make for the sake of the children and the family and keeping that system in
Dynamic together.
place, right? But I wonder if some men and I articulate this to them. Do you like her? Or I mean, that's do you like her?
That
Because
is
I mean, you could be
big.
attracted to somebody, you could be in a relationship with some, but do you actually like them? Like, if you are you always trying to go on guys trips, or would you actually enjoy going on a trip with her? Like, what would you prefer,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I think when you get to the point where you actually like the other person and like hanging out with the other person, a lot of the other things comes easy. But if
Mhm.
you're in a situation where you're still trying to get to know each other, when something comes up that you don't agree with, you see it through a particular set of lenses that wouldn't be the same lenses if you already knew that person and knew they were a good person and you liked that person. You would
Mhm.
interpret these things differently. And you're right. You said, social media is, there's just, it's trash, man. There's just trash. There's
Yeah.
just this freaking fatherless generation out here now. These men, like, it is just,
It's bad,
it is
man.
horrible, and it's not going to get any better.
Absolutely not.
And
It's only gonna get worse. I mean, unless you are, like, if you're a person, if you're a father, right, and truly like setting those boundaries for your children and teaching them about those things and saying it's okay, because I feel like in this day and age, people are they are out there to try to please other people, or it's like it's one extreme or the next. You're trying to please everybody, or try to make sure everybody's okay, or you just don't give a fuck, right?
mhm.
And I feel like there's not a whole lot in between where people can, to me, because like that's very difficult to manage where you're trying to please everybody and when you don't care. Well, okay, what about the middle part? And I
Well,
feel a
when you
lot of
say
people,
trying to please everybody, who are you talking about? What do you mean when you say try to please
I
everybody?
mean, as far as like, just attending to people's needs and being okay, and not even a relationship standpoint, but just like in general, the people, just trying to appease everybody within your circle, or within your, like, your family, because it truly starts there. Your relationships don't start with the person, with the male or female across from you as being from a different family or a different dynamic. It truly starts at home. That's how
Yeah.
you learn how to manage relationships and how you learn how to communicate, right? And how to handle stress and how to deal with those things. If you can't deal with the stuff at home, how the hell do you expect to deal with somebody who's not even in your house?
Yeah, I agree. And I think how we were raised has a lot to do with that. At some point, we have to let that go, and we can't.
Yeah.
That can't be a reason anymore at some point. And I had to. I've done that. Most people hear me talking about. I probably spent the most time with my dad because I used to go to real estate meetings with him ever since I was like 3 years old or whatever. So my way of being is mostly from him,
Mm,
and and how I was raised. There were some things that no parents are perfect. I mean, they're trying to survive and figure it out, right? Just like we were, right? And so I think there was a point where I had to, and it was nothing significant, right? But there was a
mm,
point where I had to leave the past in the past and determine what type of man that I want to be, because we have the freedom to be any type of men that we want to be.
yep.
And if there are attributes that I feel are causing me to fall short, I can just adopt them immediately on the spot and become that person. Right. In the
Yep.
context of a relationship, understanding those triggers from how you're raised and how they impact your current relationship. You know what helps with that actually? Mushrooms. Are shrooms legal out there where you are?
Psychedelics.
Yeah, mushrooms, man. You talk about mushrooms. Look, I went and bought
Oh,
some mushrooms down at the store. They sell all that stuff out here, and
used to.
my daughter, I tried it for the first time like it was maybe a couple years ago, and my
Uh,
daughter said but I got
are
it
you,
from my daughter.
you're
So my
serious?
yeah, so my daughter gave it to me. She was like, "Hey, just shout out to no, I'm not gonna say her name, but she goes, "Hey, just so you know, like when you take these, if you got any demons you need to confront, you'll go ahead and confront them with these." So I'm like, "You stupid, give me these damn. I'm a grown ass man, you demons, right?" When I tell you I sat in my chair in the office in deep thought for 4 hours straight, um, she was right, right? But I was able to look at a lot of the things that happened to me growing up and see the direct correlation with how they influence my behavior today. Connections that I never made before. And I'm like, what the hell is in these shrooms? I start reading the package. What is this? Can I grow these? So and how you get to that point doesn't matter, right? And I'm a fan of mushrooms and the health benefits, but I was able to identify some things that I carry into how I communicate, now. And because I wasn't satisfied with certain ways of communicating that, I'm the source of, then I was able to change them right off the bat. So at some point, we got to be accountable and just become the men that we want to be. But it
Yeah.
still requires. It's not that women, and I'm talking about women with good intentions. I'm not talking about women with bad intentions. I'm talking about women with good intentions. It's not always their fault that we're not achieving the outcome, right? It's not always their fault. Sometimes you have to get to that point because they don't know, they can't read our minds, just like we can't read their minds. And in the context of a relationship, our minds aren't wired the same, right?
Mhm.
Which is why it's so important to at least be able to have the conversation as much. And I've had some strange conversations with my homeboys, and they tell me conversations they're having. Um, but you
Your
got to
homeboy.
at least be able to have the conversation and not get offended.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't, bro. A lot of
Yeah.
people can't.
Well, to stay on topic with all that, I had the top five deep-seated reasons commitment feels risky for men. Number one is the fear of emotional exposure. Will she weaponize my vulnerability? I think that is definitely something that try to
I,
we
I
don't
think
want
that's
to
young
happen.
men. That's younger men. I think that's younger men.
I don't know, bro. I think, well, like I said, you're not in a stage where you're starting over. Where
Right.
you're out here dating, right? So the question is like, how much is too much, right? How much is too much to where you feel as though you're being comfortable, but all the other person may feel as though, hey, you're kind of venting and you're kind of almost like, yeah, I mean, you're just doing too much, right? Like I said, I think like there is that balance of like, okay, how much can I share? How much should I share? How much shouldn't I share? Um, because you do feel as though you don't want to have it like be judged in a certain way. Because again, I feel like we're in a space of like there people don't ever want to don't ever want to feel as though they're being judged, but they still judge other
Yeah.
people, right? And that to me is not in a line with what you say you want. So again, it's about giving grace and expecting giving grace and expecting grace and getting grace. I'm sorry. So it weaponized. So the impact men fear that. once they open up, their deepest insecurities will be used against them. During arguments or power plays, right? Power moves. Well, I'm gonna tell this. I'm gonna tell that. Did you tell your mom about this? I don't know. I'm just making up some kind of stuff. I ain't had no problems with that part. Um, but here's some ways that women
You
can
wasn't
help.
saying that when I put my finger in your butt. Hey, I told you don't bring that up again. I told you that was one time. Don't bring it up again.
Listen,
Okay.
it's normal. All men have it. Happens to all men.
The
Um,
prostate is sensitive, and anyway. I ain't never done that, but I'm just saying it happens. Not to me,
um,
though.
and we also have solutions on how women can help, right? So create a
I do.
safe space where his secrets are safe. Say, I'm here to listen, not to judge. Your fears stay between us.
But
Not
let me say this. Let me say this. If you are trying to really get to know somebody, like you meet somebody and you're like, oh, there's some potential with this person. Opening up is a good way to get to know them. And if they weaponize, now you shouldn't open up on the first date, right?
right,
But over time, and you start getting comfortable with this person, I think you should. I don't unload everything at one time, but you
right.
need to know if that's the type of person that you can open up to about certain things. And if
Hmm.
it's not, then it's better to know early than
And
than
yeah,
down the road. So I
absolutely.
think opening up is but I'm also
That's what
very
I'm saying. It's a,
transparent.
it's a catch-22. How much is too much, right?
I think it depends on who you are too, because there's people I've been on a stage in front of 1,000 people and opened up about my childhood trauma, and it was a
Yeah.
real estate conversation,
You
right?
take me to the first open house and when
Yeah, yeah. So I'm an open book because
yeah,
that's just not an issue for me. I don't have a problem with that. I may be weak in some other areas. That's just not one of them. But I think that I see the
right.
value in opening up at least to a degree to see how that person responds and to see if they're willing to open up to you, right? Because
Yeah, true.
if you plan on being in a long-term relationship with that person, if you don't, you just want to smash. No, you can just talk about Real
What's
Housewives of
your real name?
Atlanta.
You don't even know all that. Don't worry about all that. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
don't. Yeah, you don't.
it.
I'm a he him. That's all you need to
When's your
know.
birthday? Don't worry about all that. Don't
I
worry
don't
about it.
have a
See, but
birthday.
the issue I have, I think that people feel like that connection that people have, with somebody else is based off of, oh, what color do you like? Oh, that's my favorite color too. Oh, what's your favorite movie? Oh, that's my favorite movie too. Like that's not connection. That's just shit. That's just growing up. You know what I mean? It depends on when you
Yeah,
grew
man.
up. So yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't see a
So
lot of
number
people
one is
connecting.
fear of emotional exposure. Number two
Mhm.
is how women. Number two is the fear of losing freedom. Am I sacrificing my life for hers? Impact. Men often feel like commitment means forfeiting personal goals, passions, or friendships.
You know what?
Now,
I've said that before.
you think
I've
that
said
way?
that, but I've said that before. Like giving up my freedom, and then and now where I am today, I can't even imagine saying that or why I would ever say that.
Yeah,
There's just a
I'm in a different
huge
space too.
yeah. There's a huge disconnect from the current me and the old me. So
Yeah,
almost have to go back and think of, okay, well, what was my thought process at
yeah,
the time? And it was likely I can have all the women I want. At the time, that's probably my thought process. I can have all the
right.
women I want. You want me to give up all them women for just you? Now, forget
No,
the fact that having all them women is destructive and all that, and there is no long term
no
benefit
connection. No,
into living that lifestyle, and there's far too many negatives about living that type of lifestyle versus any positives, right? So I'm not glorifying that at all, but I can see at the time why I would say that, because my
no.
version of freedom was being able to move as I please and not having to be 100% committed, because when you commit to somebody, really for men, you're putting somebody before you, and that's just kind of what we do, right? We're always putting somebody before us, right? That's part of protecting and providing. And you didn't have to do that if you had 5 or 6 different women all in different categories that
You
all
try,
served.
don't worry about it. You, go ahead. Yeah, I got it.
Well, no, I mean, I was, and it's not that you're just treating them poorly, but you could have 5, 6, and if you have resources, you can have women all over the country that fill a different need. I'm just being honest with you.
No, I hear you.
Now
I,
today, not today. Now I don't see the value in that at all. But in my late 20s, or I could see why I would say that. Now now it seems like that would be an enormous waste of time, and there is
That's a
no.
lot. To me, that's a waste of energy. A waste of like time and energy. I just don't have I don't have the patience for it. I don't have to try to like again. It's like because I feel you got to remember shit. I don't want to try to remember all every like you know what I'm saying. It's like it's just too much for me. It's a lot of to me it's way too much effort that I can be putting towards something else that is going to give me something else,
Yeah.
right? Then worry about trying to I don't know, appease somebody just because I want something from them. I don't want anything from anybody. So, yeah, but the fear of freedom, am I sacrificing my life for hers? And like I said, this is how women can help. Reframe commitment as expansion, not retention or restriction. Encourage him to keep his hobbies, his friends, his sense of individuality. Say
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
because the hobbies are what we're worried about.
yeah. My hobbies were
I build tree
yeah.
houses, and I don't want to give that up.
I play basketball, so that was my hobby. Um, yeah, so say things like, "I love that you have your own life, and I want to add to it and not take from it."
I don't think in that case women can help with that, because I think a man has to make that decision. If a man doesn't see the value in it, there's nothing a woman can do to influence his way of thinking on that. And except, listen and just be her authentic self, which means, be willing to communicate and have all of the different conversations and all of the things that come with that. But I don't think that, because men, we gonna do what we want to do, man. We are going to do what we want to do, right? The only time that gets diminished is in the context of a relationship where we have kids and mortgages and all this other stuff. Obviously, we're not just doing whatever we want to do. But when you're in the early stages of a relationship, there's nothing you can say to make us go in a different direction, if go in a particular direction if you're a woman. Just be your authentic self and be
Mhm.
willing to risk the fact that the two may not be good for each other, but find out early so you can move on, because time is money, man, and we only got so many minutes left.
What do we
So why
say? How many
waste them?
summers you got, man? I got 28 summers left.
I got about 35 summers left.
Um,
My dad turned 80 yesterday,
oh
and
man,
you wouldn't know it because he still punches faster than me. He's running around the park at 4:30 in the morning. He
oh
ain't.
yeah,
So
your ass ain't getting out of bed at 4:30 and go running. Hell no.
absolutely not. I'm just coming in at 4:30. You talking about? I
I'm
don't know
just
what
getting
4:30 look like from that side. I'm just kidding. No.
hell no.
All right.
Number
What's the?
three is the fear of failing as a partner. What if I can't meet her expectations? Impact is men may feel like they're not enough financially, emotionally, or physically. This paralyzes them. I don't agree with that one at all.
I don't agree with it either, but I know that does exist for
But
some
I know
men.
it does. Right? Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
But I think that's based off of maybe the type of woman that you're aligning yourself with in that moment, right? I have dated women who are really more superficial than certain things, and it's like, yeah, this ain't for me because yeah, I got it, but I'm like, I don't. That's not what I want to,
Yeah.
break my bank for, So
Yeah, I'm not even in that conversation, man. That conversation would have to have been 2 decades ago for me.
nigga, you
I'm not
sound like
like
an old. You really sound like an old Otis right now, bro.
because I'm not dating. So I mean, if my girl come home right now and say, "Hey, we need to clean out everything and pay this thing." It's done, bro. I'm not a.
Right.
It. We have history though, right? We have history, and she was there when I had nothing
Mm.
and helped me, and she's
Mm.
a big part of the reason why I do have. Now I was married before, and there was we were on and off in times. Throughout my life, but it's there's certain conversations that I don't even entertain, man. Um, but if you feel like I'm not saying you Donovan, but I'm talking to in general. If you're a man and you feel like you swinging out of your league, then the insecurities are going to manifest themselves in a bunch of different ways. Me,
Yeah.
I never felt like I was swinging out of my league.
Yeah. No, 100%. I also
Yeah.
feel like if that's the case, if you feel like you're out of your league, then step the hell up. Shit, step
I
up.
don't think it's. I don't think it's that.
Oh,
I don't think it's
George,
that easy, Donovan. Like you can't
man,
step up if you 5'8" to be 5'10". Like
listen,
it's.
listen. He drinking milk. You know what I mean? I know he trying. He out there hanging himself upside down from his ankles, trying to get tall.
Mm.
You know, it's all good.
Amen.
Number four is the. I'm sorry. I don't think I finished this. So, how women can help validate his effort, not just his results. Say, I'm not here for what you can provide. I'm here for who you are. I doubt. I don't see any. I don't see too many women saying.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know what planet they took that survey on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a safe space. This is man. I'm sorry. Um, Number four, the fear of emotional exhaustion. She would drain me emotionally.
What are they asking? Like eighth graders?
Men fear being the constant fixer, always having to solve problems and manage her emotions without room for their own.
I think that yeah, bro. Like what are they asking? I want to see the I want to see the profile on everybody who took the survey.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing, man. I think it's going to
Okay.
go back to do you if you like the person. Let me put it in different contexts, right? Let's take it to the corporate environment. If you have a boss that you actually like and you know that this is a good person, even when they mess up, you extend them a little grace, right? But if you have a boss that you feel is a jerk that you do not like, everything they do is going to be data to support the argument that you already have for how you feel about that person. All right. So if you're with somebody that you like, a lot of these conversations don't even come up because you just give them the benefit of the doubt, right? But again, stop rushing into relationships too early. You met her
Yeah.
at brunch 2 weeks ago, and now y'all talking about
Marriage.
long term this and long term that, right?
Yeah.
The key though,
Nah,
you want to know what the secret is
what's that?
for men. If you really want to know if you like the woman or not, you know what the secret is. I'm gonna mess some people up. Don't sleep with them.
Hmm.
Oh
Fact.
hell,
No, I just saying anything. I
yeah.
said fact.
No. I know. Don't sleep with them. See what you guys have to talk about. See how
Yep.
you hang out when you take that off the table.
Yep. See if you actually like you said earlier. Do I like this person?
Yeah. See, a lot of time, sex clouds all of that stuff. When
Mhm.
see, I can say it now because I'm out the game, so I'm messing it up for all brothers out there now. Like I
I
think
think it was
I'm a
one of
hater. I'm out the
the-
game,
his
but
gangster name is Cloudy Cuz. What you talking about?
but it clouds judgment, and you out there and you drinking and doing all this stuff, and that becomes the foundation of your relationship, and that is a really shoddy foundation. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, because there's a lot of miscommunication or misinterpretation after you have sex. Like I think that changes the way somebody listens to you, the way you speak to them as well. You know what I mean? It becomes a I don't know. Sometimes it feels like I think that most people feel like it becomes like your possession at that time, right? Or like it's a like this is what we share. You know what I mean? And they can make it feel as though it's personal, and it's understandable. It's personal. Yeah. So
I
I
think
get
you and I growing up had different types of sex then because it was very casual in nature. So
if you're talking to somebody, man, and you continue to have that conversation, obviously,
oh, like
right?
in a
Yes.
relationship, like over
Yeah.
time. All
As
right, I'm
you're going,
sorry, I didn't know.
this is what the context of what we're having this whole conversation about, Otis. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but I'm talking about how destructive that is.
Stands. It's not one night stands or hey, hookups or whatever. Jump offs. We're not talking about jump offs. We're not talking about.
What's a jump off? What is that? What's
Huh?
a jump off? What's a jump
Uh,
off?
I'm gonna have that's just a jump off. It's just
Throw that in a
hey,
chat GPT and see what it says.
yeah, you can Urban Dictionary that joint too if you want. Number five is fear. Oh, well, actually, I take that back. So, how can women help instead of leaning on him for every emotional need? Show that you can hold your own. You can hold your own too. Say, I value your support, but I don't expect you to be my therapist. Now, now let's grow together and not carry each other.
Oh man, I think that's really not giving women their credit, right? Like I think a lot of women are better than that. Like I just don't see. I've never really been exposed to that.
Yeah,
I've never really been
I
exposed to
don't know.
that.
I,
Like I've
I think
never.
that's a different culture.
Yeah, I just never had I've never experienced that. Like I know men you could say that too. Like like handle your emotions and stop leading
They
on.
could just turn it down. Like y'all just met yesterday. But it was old
Yeah,
boy in what was it, Boomerang? Remember
yeah.
David out there? When he felt he was like, oh, man, you always that get him. Man, he was so hurt, man, when he got it
Oh
when I
man,
got out of
everybody
there.
knows one of those. Everybody knows one of those guys too. We all know
Yeah,
one of those.
like
No,
bro, you fall in
I think
love
I don't.
instantly.
I just never. Yeah, I've never had like the look, man. Men know how to approach a situation. At least most know how to approach a situation if they want a long term commitment with somebody. I think we know how. Now, there's good dudes and there's bad dudes, just like there's good women and there's bad women. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, people just don't take it seriously anymore. There's just no core values anymore. And you know, I'm 49 years old. I was raised by baby boomers. A lot of these cats running out there right now was raised by our generation. And I will say our generation has failed the next generation, right? It has failed the next generation. So, you know, without that, those core values, what's up? Ours, yeah, Gen
As
X.
you
Yeah. Gen X. So I have a daughter. So not my kids. I'm saying our generation, not me
okay,
personally.
all right. I think my kids were good too. Like knock on wood
Yeah.
for now.
You
They
got good
don't,
kids. Yeah.
that's me. Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I'm talking about as far as the age I see out there cutting up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they are through. Now, obviously, there's exceptions, right? So I'm not making a generalization, a true generalization, but all of
Mm,
the complaints that are going
mm.
towards a lot of these men out here from women, I'm like, who do you think raised them? Yeah,
Single mother.
yeah. Now I know friends. You know, I know very successful people that were raised by single moms. I know. But also it was a different type of single mom.
I
Like
was gonna say the same
old
thing.
school single moms are different than single moms right now.
Yeah. Like,
It was not
are
the
you trying
same.
to keep dad away? Because again, are you? Somebody post I saw it today on Facebook. Child support is for taking care of the child, not a way to get back of a failed relationship.
Yeah, I mean, but with everything, you always got people that
Yeah.
mismanage those processes, right? You know, I think
Mm,
for every woman taking advantage of child support is another woman that actually needs more child support and is not getting it. So, I
absolutely.
mean, we can hit that one all day. But I will
And
say,
I had a bountiful mom on child support, and I only got like $10 a month from her. So I mean, I think I needed more than that, but
yeah. Oh, I think. You can do a lot with $10.
$10, bro, $10. I said, not even a month. It was every week, every other week. I would look at that check. I was like, man, you could have kept this shit.
It costs you $10 to process it. Darlene says you are echoing. I don't hear an echo from you, but you know, I don't hear an echo from you. But I will say it's the when you say single mom, the generations matter, right?
Hmm.
Keep in mind, single moms that raised, you know, my counterparts, you know, my friends, a lot of them were more successful or you know successful and you know they're doing their thing. But also there was no internet, right? And they got whoopings, and it was a different type of environment because those moms were baby boomers. Moms went through civil rights and all the other stuff, right? These women raising these kids now, they
They ain't
are
been able
cooked.
to, yeah.
Yeah, you can. That's why you got dudes rolling up to Ruth Chris in UPS shorts and roller skates and onesies. You got a lot of stuff going on out there. You ain't got to where the dads at, all right?
Oh man.
Or yeah, it's you know, and it matters, man. It matters. It matters. My son, we were walking down the street today, walking around the block, and he's 3. And I said, "Don't run in them shoes, because you know you'll fall in them shoes." He wanted to run in the shoes. He fell, scraped his leg up,
Yeah.
First thing he did was this.
Mm-mm.
Get them hands down. Let me see. You got any blood? No blood on there. Get up. Come on. I'm not even going now. Do I want to pick him up? Absolutely, right. I'm his dad. But there's more value in teaching him to brush it off. Bad things happen. You still got to move forward. You ain't got a choice. Ain't nobody gonna be here to pick you up all the time. I'm not your mother, right?
So question: Would you have done that to your daughter though, if your daughter
No,
fell? Exactly.
no,
I know I would.
no, no, no. No. Let me.
I'm gonna let you do that. Go ahead and
Yeah.
tell I'm gonna log
Let me.
off and log back in.
All
All right.
right. I will. I'm gonna clarify that because I would do it to my daughter. I would just do it differently, right? I would do it differently because I have to have a conversation with her about why it is that she's not getting the attention in that moment that she is, that she wants, right? So it would be a much longer conversation, but I would still have the same outcome with her. So you folks that are listening, um, we should always extend people grace, right? Treat people with dignity and respect. That goes without saying. But understand, look, it is. Darlene says tough love is the best. Yeah, and there's a time and place for everything, right? My son falls down. I'm not holding him, picking him up, saying, "Oh, it's gonna be okay," because life isn't gonna do that to him. But when we're watching TV and he sees something that he likes, I hug him and say, "Hey, that would be really cool. We should go get one of those together, and then we could play and do all this stuff." So still. It's not that I'm not showing him love; it's that I'm showing him love in the proper context. And being a father, there's certain things that you have to take into consideration when you're raising these kids. I look out in the world now, and it looks like the freaking purge out here. I'm sure you guys have seen that movie, The Purge. It does. And I'm seeing these kids cutting up and robbing people and doing all this. And now I don't go to those places and those environments, right? And most of the time I'm seeing it on the news or, social media or whatever. But that's just what the world is becoming. And this is the generation that are going to be in a lot of these relationships that we're talking about. It just lack class and lack maturity and all these other things. So, you know, I always say it is what it is. Where'd Donovan go? I think they cut his internet off. He got that internet. Remember the one that they used to mail you the CD, and you had to put the CD in the computer, and then plug the phone line in the back of the computer. See, if you don't know what that is, then you probably the generation that's out here cutting up right now. All right. All right. So he was talking about the top 5 issues. All right. The top 5 deep-seated reasons that commitment feels risky for men. I don't think it feels risky at this point in my life, but it is worth having a conversation for folks that may be a little younger than myself and Donovan, or maybe a little older than us, but haven't really evolved yet. Number 1 was fear of emotional exposure. Will she weaponize my vulnerability? I don't know who they asked these questions to, but I haven't really experienced that. I don't mind being what you guys call vulnerable. I just call transparent. Number 2 was fear of losing freedom. Am I sacrificing my life for hers? I think that has to do with a maturity level. I think, the older you get, smarter we get as men. We evolved once we take on more responsibility and are conditioned to put things before us, right? Family, providing, and all those other things. I think that conversation diminishes over time. So we don't see it as losing freedom, but as a single guy, your late 20s, maybe early 30s, maybe 30s, 40s, depending on who you are, I can see why men would fear losing freedom. And by freedom, that is, all the destructive things single guys are doing that are hurting them, but they don't know it. That's just my take on it. And number 3 was fear of failure as a partner. That's something I think I can relate to, especially as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, I've been ingrained in my DNA to protect and provide. And if things go bad and I can't fully provide like I'm supposed to, it's tied to my identity, even though I know it shouldn't be. And it impacts, the way I feel about myself and my performance, and which is why, I go so hard. I'm just doing a recap, Donovan. Number 4 was fear of emotional exhaustion. Will she drain me emotionally? Neither myself or Donovan really have ever experienced that. But I guess men fear commitment because they don't want to be drained emotionally. I don't know.
I can
I don't.
see where that, like, if a woman is always in a victim state, right, or woe is me type thing,
Yeah.
like it's always happened to me. It's like she wants to, kind of. I call it, women tend to trauma bond with each other. That's kind of how they have their emotional attachment with each other. So, like, if one baby dad is doing the wrong thing, oh girl, my baby dad do the same thing, yada yada. Like they're, you know what I'm saying? Like they're almost in a sense of trauma bonding with each other. And I think like that's the lot that I refuse to kind of take on because I'm not dealing with that trauma bond, right? So I can
Well,
understand. I think I'm misinterpreting that. That's probably what it is, right? And something
yeah.
like that, and like always having problems with people in your family. You don't communicate with anybody. I've seen women who are very like standoffish from relationships with other people and their family, or always feel as though things are happening to them in a sense. And I think like
But you
that's
don't think
probably
that
what it's referring to.
you don't think that's a class issue? Like having class means you don't air your dirty laundry out to the rest of the world. And if
100%.
I was with
Yeah,
if
that is.
I was with somebody that did that, that means we would have to have a conversation, or so I'm not going to be with that person. Like that's a we handle things internally like grown folks, and I think that's a character flaw and a class issue. So, and I don't think it's specific to women either. I think, and I know you agree with me. I
No,
don't think it's
I think a
specific.
lot of men do it. I think a lot of men do it too. They're
Yeah.
victims. They always like it's like, man, she always doing this, man. She always on my case. She always, mom's this. Because I know, like I said, I think we all have gone through maybe that time where you blamed whatever it was on somebody else until you actually start becoming accountable for your actions and the things that have happened to you. Really have no. It's not someone else's fault. It's really more along the lines of what are you going to do about it, right? And to make that change, because we can sit here and talk back and go back and forth about the problem, but the problem is not going to solve anything.
Well, I think when men talk about it, we're not looking for an outcome based on the conversation, and we're not influenced by the response that the men that we're talking to give. I think that's the difference, right? We have to vent to somebody, and I don't think that's the same, right? Because it doesn't matter if I vent to you, it doesn't matter what you say. I'm not going to change the way I'm gonna handle it on my end, right? Because I'm still the man of my house.
Right.
So if I'm the man of my house, I'm not going to take direction. I'll take advice. I'll listen to a perspective, but no other man is going to tell me what to go back and do to run my household. And so I think that when I say men do it too, and men that are emotional, this is just my opinion, men that are emotional and who allow that to affect their actions are weak dudes. Those are weak dudes, and those are the ones you see beating up on women and doing all this other stuff, right? Again, it's okay to be emotional, but when it starts influencing your actions, I think there's a problem. In how I see that is y'all just wasn't raised right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Number 5 was fear of
Use
being
your
controlled.
words.
Will I lose my power and voice? Am I reading that right? Number 5, fear of being controlled. Will I lose my power and voice? Man, if you don't, if you
Mm.
don't get, I don't look. I don't know
How
who
do
this.
how do you feel about this?
You lose
How
your
do you feel about the
power.
one thing that they always say, happy wife, happy life?
Happy wife, happy life. I think that
Yeah.
that is something that was around in the '60s during a different time. I think that if again it goes back. Do you like the person? If you like the person, you want to see them. You want to see them happy. Period. Right. But
Yeah.
at what expense? That's where you have to set the boundary. Am I trying to make this person happy at the expense of who I truly am? And to be honest with you, man, in a real relationship, sometimes the compromise is okay. It's never 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 70-30 in favor of one person. Sometimes it's 70-30 in favor of the other person. But again, if you have that harmony, then you're able to kind of take a step back and then regroup when so you can talk about what the issue is. But that also takes a level of maturity that a lot of people don't have these days because they watch too much damn social media and too much damn TV. So, you know, old school relationships are a little bit different. It's not like old school relationships didn't have problems, but it was handled a lot different, right?
Hmm.
It was handled a lot different. We come from a different time, man, and again, I'm not saying I'm not saying that any generation is better than the other, I kind of am saying that actually. Yeah, I am.
All right, I
I
take that
am.
back. No,
I'm trying to hide it, but I do believe that these,
yeah, I'm a little biased to certain generations.
just, yeah, man. Like we got, it's just, I don't know. I think people's expectations. I think relationships are in the toilet nowadays. Like I feel bad. Like my son comes from good stock, right? And he's got a good mom. My oldest son, he's 27. Got a good mom, and she's did a really good job. When raising him when he was with her, and after we had split up years ago, and he's on it, right? He's on it. But I got to school him. Like, look, we have to have the tough conversations, the tough ones, the ones that you have to have behind closed doors, as we should all be doing with our sons. Those aren't conversations that women can have with our sons, right? And I'm not gonna go into detail about these conversations on this platform, but the point is they're being had so that he can navigate this space. But this fear of being this number five, fear of being controlled. Will I lose my power and voice? I don't know who they asked with that one. That's the man said that. A man, I don't. A man said
that's
that.
the man's perspective. I feel like, oh, she's going to be overpowering, or again, yeah, I'm gonna lose my voice. I don't. I'm not a. I don't. I don't agree with
That's
that one.
his fault. That is
Yeah.
his fault because that's a lack of respect in that relationship.
Mhm.
And if you've got a that's that ain't me, bro. Like,
I don't think that's a relationship issue. I think it's an individual issue.
yeah, like how can somebody take your power and voice? Your presence should command a certain response. And if
Yeah.
you're a weak dude all around, then you'll probably be misled and mishandled and all that other stuff. But not
Yeah.
by no woman. Now, I'll be the first to say women are stronger than us in a lot of areas. That ain't one of them. All right.
Right.
That tells me you're not the man of the house.
Yeah.
All right?
Two
And
word.
people, and that's
Sit
and
your
that's
ass.
not being misogynistic. That's not being anything. But a man should be the man of the house. If you want to
Agreed.
know who's in charge, let somebody break in and see who responds. Now, I'm not saying I'll let the woman make 99% of the decisions. Right? Happy wife, happy life, like you said before, because she's doing something that is equal to me protecting and providing. She's
Mhm.
creating a home. So I give her all the authority to make all these decisions. Even if we disagree when it comes to certain things, I'll go ahead and defer to her. But when I say when I'm not willing to negotiate, that's the law. That is law. There is
Right.
no right. Now, I don't remember a time where it's ever come to that because we're very reasonable people and we can talk through things. But at the end of the day, I'm the man of my house, man. And all of that, will I lose my power and voice? I'll tell you right now, I'll never be sitting at the table with that dude. I'll never be doing business with that dude.
Yeah, he can have that because that definitely is
Yeah.
not. Um, I mean, I can. Maybe just not being heard, but again, even with that, it's like, dude, you got to step up and say something. Like,
Yeah, you can't even clean that up, bro. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not-
I'm embarrassed for that man.
yeah, I don't know. All
Yeah.
right. Let's see here. So
Being controlled. I wish him. I
we
wish.
got, and then we also have here. Here's another top five: the unintentional actions women take to push men away.
Now, just to clarify, we researched these answers. These aren't our
Yeah, these
answers.
are
We didn't rank these.
saying, and this is what we've gotten from research and what it says, and we're
Yes.
looking like a lot of these things, and like I said, sometimes we read this days ahead, but then sometimes we just look at this stuff like, hey man, let's
30
look
seconds before we jump.
at the topic. All right, cool. Well, let's look at some stuff, and we're pulling things together, and this one is definitely interesting.
Okay.
So these are top five unintentional actions women take to push men away. Number one is overstepping boundaries, acting like his wife before you are. Impact, trying to control his schedule, checking it was sorry his consistency and what is it and or making decisions for him can make him feel like less independent.
Yeah, I think it's cute that they try to do that. But if you're a man and that's really impacting you, you need to be able to control your environment, your situation, man.
Yeah.
But in women's defense, sometimes we act like husbands before we are too.
100%. You can't wear that. You ain't doing this, man. Listen,
Yeah.
man. I let people be how they want because I feel like this. I shouldn't. I will never. I don't make rules. I kind of like. I want to see how you operate, knowing you have someone there.
Yeah.
So if you feel, if you want to wear your hoochie dress, we go out. I don't know. I mean, I might. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But my question is, would you wear that if I weren't there?
So again, certain things I just don't care about. If you're going to dress a
Maybe.
particular way, if you're going to dress a particular way or present yourself a particular way, at least understand the possible outcomes that come along with that, so you're not surprised and and have a victim mentality when you don't get the outcome that you're looking for, right? But yeah, I'm telling you, man, things are a lot different when you got a mortgage. You'd worry about a lot less. These dudes out there living with their parents having dating problems. Like, bro, come on, man. All right.
Mama, you know what you said, Mama? What she say, baby?
I just yeah. So I like how what women can do. Allow him to lead, maintain his individuality. So again, it depends on what level of the relationship that you're in. If you're the first 6 7 months, I mean, you gotta manage some expectations, right? Date responsibly. That should be the theme. And people don't date responsibly. They move too fast. They do it's and when you don't approach dating the right way, and I know this because for most of my life I've approached it the wrong way. So I have personal experience. When you approach it the wrong way, the outcome is typically wrong. Now, if you're lucky enough to approach it the wrong way and have somebody to stick it out with you and until you evolve into the next version of you that you're going to be and you guys can make it and grow together, then that's great. But a lot of these outcomes that people are experiencing in these relationships, they should be able to trace back and see where it went bad, right? And take some accountability for that. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I
Number
agree,
two,
man. It's not
I'm sorry.
hard.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's not hard. It just requires work. I think that's the biggest
Well,
thing.
we
It requires conversation. I think that's the biggest thing within all of literally the solution to all this stuff is literally having conversation, right? Because it's going to be you don't know where somebody's come from. You don't know how their dynamic was in their house, right? But even though regardless of their dynamic, maybe your dad ran over your mom ran over your dad, right? And that's what you saw. Well, that ain't what it's going to be over here, right? So I think it's really again having those conversations, and if that shit don't align with what it is that you want, then it's okay to cut bait and just say, you know what, I appreciate your time and your patience, and thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night.
Amen. Amen. It goes back to what we were saying a few weeks ago when we did we I forgot which episode we were doing, but if you are genuinely trying to be a good person, just you, this is outside of dating. If you're genuinely trying to be a good person and genuinely treat people with dignity and respect, a lot of these other things will fall into place and you will start attracting a different type of people, different type of mate, whether you're a man or a woman. But if you're out there and you're leading with things that are superficial, dudes, if you're out there leading with money, don't be mad when you get a bunch of gold diggers trying to eat that bait. If you're a woman and you're leading with sexuality, don't be mad and you out there attracting dudes who only want to smash. So, but understand the outcome based on what you present to the world. Where are we at? Number two?
Yeah, number two.
Ultimate
No,
way.
yeah, emotional manipulation.
And this is top five unintentional actions women take that push men away. So emotional manipulation, using ultimatums to secure commitment. I don't know who that works on.
Wait, or what?
I don't
Or
know.
else. Or I'm not okay. Or your ass can get your shit and you can go ahead and kick rock.
Oh man, you don't even know where I live. Peace.
Yeah. Hell
I
no.
don't. I don't know what ultimatum that. I don't. It takes a certain type of person to
Right.
give you an ultimatum. If you've got to give somebody an ultimatum, It's already bad. It already went bad.
This we're done having this conversation. If she hit me with or else, or else what? Or else what? Or else, you know what? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not going to be very constructive on number two. I don't know what to tell you. If you've got to do an ultimatum, first of all, that's your bad, young lady, because he's showing you who he is. So the fact that you have to do an ultimatum in the first place, you
Right.
just don't want to receive the information that you're getting
That
because
part.
you're afraid to act on it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and I think that is one of the things too, is that sometimes women may go into situations they're trying to change the man to fit what it is they want that man to be.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the ultimatum that they're giving him. Like, hey, I know this man. I mean, and it could be sometimes it might be for the best. Like if he's an alcoholic, hey man, if you want me, you gotta stop drinking or I'm leaving.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
Like I can understand, or all right, but I mean, but yeah,
Yeah.
don't your feelings might get hurt if you get an ultimatum and he
They're
pick
going to
up.
choose that bottle.
Well, it'd be like this. See you when I see you.
Yeah, but even before 10 seconds before you issued the ultimatum, you knew he was an alcoholic.
Thank you.
So
Exactly.
so you needed to make a decision. Do you want to be with an alcoholic? I don't know.
I don't
All
know.
right.
That's the
Next
thing.
one. Next one. Hold on one second. That's her right there. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hey, hey. Oh, I'm doing a podcast with Donovan. All right, I'll see you. It's a full menu podcast. It's not the business one, so you all good. You all good.
You got the baby. Look at the baby waking up
We
too.
ate.
Yeah,
I ate.
yeah, we live.
Oh no,
This
we
is
ate breakfast. So if you
not
want to
live.
bring something, that's
We get
cool.
to take care of our kids, have conversations with our women. Well, I don't have one.
Oh,
But yeah, have a
yeah, let's
conversation
order some pizza.
and take care of our children. I mean, I had
All
to
right,
kick
see
my
you in a bit.
dogs out, so I didn't want to be interrupted. But
I thought I was on mute. My bad.
no, nigga, you ain't on mute. We heard that whole conversation.
Hey, you gonna do that thing you said you was gonna do when you get home with the?
Hey, baby, with the baby hand. Yeah.
What's up? Hey, mommy's gonna she gonna bring some pizza, okay? All right. You want to say hi to the people? All right. What you
What up, little
doing?
man?
All
Oh,
right, come on.
he ready to
All
go.
right.
All
All
right,
right.
so here we are.
What's the next one?
The next one is comparing him to other men. Don't you ever? Making him feel like he's never enough. Yeah, that's one thing. Is like I refuse. Like you're not gonna talk to me any kind of way, make me feel like a way. I'm not. I refuse. Ain't happening.
That'll backfire that'll
Real
backfire
big
because
time.
I feel I'm the dopest person in the world. So you try to compare me to somebody else, I'm gonna be like, why don't you get him? Why don't you call him?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Tell him to come through.
over. Yeah, shit.
Let me watch. Like if since you want to take it there, I would go all the way there. Oh no, you take it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
bring him
Bring
through.
I want to see. Let me see. Let me see.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. Let me see.
Too
That's
bad.
the older you get, you be saying stuff like that. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Hey, I'm not. Stop.
Number four is turning
Yeah,
his
watch that.
vulnerability into a weapon, using his fears against him. That is
What you gonna
definitely.
do? Like put a snake in the house? Like,
Yeah,
like
don't
what,
don't you throw no damn spiders in the bed. I swear to God.
yeah, what fears are you going to? Hey, that's just a bad person, man. Like if
Yeah,
you do that to anybody, you're just a bad person. You deserve what you get.
absolutely.
Yeah, and if somebody does that to you, that's a good red flag because now you know how you should move. It's like, okay, well, this isn't the person that I want to be with. Psh, find somebody
Yeah,
else. It's better to find this stuff out in the beginning as
yeah.
opposed to the
I
end.
mean, and I truly do wonder if people are really learning from their past failed relationships, right? Are they really learning? Like, are they taking the shit that didn't work and applying it,
Well,
or
yeah, because
or recognizing it, but not using it from a standpoint of like, that's when you're gonna cut bait. Like that's when you're gonna run, right? Because I feel like you know what I mean. Like if somebody said if he was this way, and then you meet somebody who says has a saying and that triggers you, like do you cut that? Do you just leave him alone because that he said something that the saying like whatever it is, what it is kind of thing. Maybe he says it is what it is, and does it does it trigger her and make her, fall back, and vice
Yeah,
versa?
I'm fortunate in that, man, because growing up, everything was my fault. Like I was the only one screwing up,
Mhm.
and you get that's part of the education, man. Sometimes you go in a particular direction and you have to go all the way in that direction to realize once you get everything that you want in that space that it's not really what you wanted. And in my case, it's not even good for you or healthy for you. It's not a good way of being. It's not good energy. It's not a good environment to be in. And a lot of dudes don't really get the opportunity to go there. So they're always looking past a good opportunity for the next one.
Yeah,
So, and every guy, and we laugh and joke. I don't judge any guy for where he's at unless he's intentionally trying to hurt people and all that. I'm not talking
yeah,
about them dudes. But everybody's got their own journey, man, and you got to respect the process. Like I wasn't born with the perspective that I have. I learned it over time, hurting people and doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing, thinking I was
mhm,
in the right. And, it's part of growing up. All
yeah.
right. We're
For
stupid
me,
when we're young, we're smarter when we're older.
absolutely, and for me, it was the impact, right? The impact that had, like my actions and what it caused over there, like how it made that person feel. And that's really just going back to really asking that question, or really saying, you hurt me when you did this, and it's like, yeah, that's how you. I hate to say it, but that's kind of how you have to learn on both ends. I
Yeah.
had to learn what I would do or what I've done that hurts you, and then you had to learn what would hurt you, in a sense, right? So you sometimes you just don't know until you actually go through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely agree with that one. Yeah, that's that top five. I was
I really want to meet the dudes. We should interview all the dudes that answer these
That's what we
questions.
should do. Is like we should have dudes on here. It's like, hey man, listen, out of 100 men, surveys like do like they do the Family Feud, right? 100 men said,
I want to go back to dude fear that had the fear of being controlled and worried about losing his power and his voice. You old waiting to exhale
"You're not
ass.
hearing me."
I can't do it. All right, where we at now? What's the
Let's
next one?
see. Um, we are
If
over.
commitment feels risky, how can men get past that fear?
Yeah.
And how can women be? How can women make it safe? Keep making it safe.
Hmm.
Shh. I think you just got to live, man. Like you gotta. I got to a point. I think I was 28 years old, and I think I was 28, and I had this condo, and this is like I had to be under 28. I was in my late 20s. I had this condo, man, and I had women up and out of there. I mean, it was like, and I got to the point where I was making all the money that I wanted to make. I had, the women, I would date a woman, not even because I liked her, because everybody else liked her. And I was, and it was, and I think that was the darkest
Hmm.
place that I've ever been in life, right? It was like you keep chasing all these things and you keep going through the same revolving door, and then one day you realize, oh, there's nothing. This is it. Like there is
Yeah,
no
empty.
fulfillment. This is it. There's always going to be somebody better looking if you're chasing the superficial stuff. There's always going to be more money to make. There's always going to be. So I was
Mhm.
losing sight of things that actually should have been important. And it wasn't intentional. I'm just living I'm trying to, live just like everybody else. So I was fortunate that God allowed me to see that there's nothing there's no value in this stuff. And none of this will ever sustain you. I had a
Yeah.
relationship. I wouldn't give me call it a relationship. I was seeing somebody that I was like, oh, I like this person, bro. Oh, because this person's cool. And 4 days later, it was gone. Like 4 days, bro. That's 96 hours. And it was because it was built on all the superficial stuff. And what people don't realize is, as a man, the more you're able to get what you want, the more desensitized you get to it. So
Yeah.
beauty fades fast. Physical attraction fades fast because there's
Especially
nothing
if
to
it's easy,
sustain it.
you get it easy. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't like to brag, but your boy. Come on with the
Popcorn pimping.
But it's that's another thing. I was watching the I was never mind. I'm not gonna get back to the Diddy trial, but a part of me was like, I can see why he turned into a monster.
What was it? Pimps up, goes down. Yeah.
But but yeah, man, it's like so once you know a lot of dudes never get to see that, and I see it a lot with men that weren't really good with women coming up, but then maybe they got some money later on, and they're seeing a lot of this for the first time, and they don't really know how to manage it, right? I call them simps, but you can, I mean, there's another name, I'm sure, right? So they use the money to go ahead and they lead with that, and then
Yeah, we had
and then
the
they
video. Remember we had we showed that video of the guy, the girl he comes to the girl's house and he's like, "Hey, I thought we going out, whatever. You didn't get my hair done, you didn't do this, you do that," and he goes in and just starts tricking and giving her money to get her
yeah,
hair done, get her nails done, all that other stuff. Yeah, that shit was wild.
right, no
For,
pride,
for the first date, for the first date.
yes, I remember that, and
Yeah, no,
it's not like it's not like I'm sitting here making fun of those dudes, right?
I am.
I mean, because,
Yeah, we are.
because if I never got the response from women that I wanted to when I was a kid and a teenager or whenever growing up, because that influences how you conduct yourself as a man, I would be doing the same thing. So I'm not judging. I only judge when they complain about the outcomes. And just like the women, I
Man,
don't
she left.
judge. Was
Yeah,
that?
that's it. Man, she left me. Well, she
Well, I
was
mean,
old. Because
you led with the
got
money.
more money. Yeah,
Well, you led with the money, and you didn't make enough money to sustain it,
that part.
right? Because if you're gonna lead with some money, you got to lead with some money because there's always another dude out there with more money than you. So if you can't get it on your own merits, you shouldn't even want it. Like that's how that this is the conversation that I'm gonna be having with him. If you
Right,
can't get it on your own merits, then you
right,
don't want it.
right.
Right? His confidence is gonna be through the roof, bro. Like it ain't even going. I wish somebody would. Right? I wish somebody would. Now, his anyway. He gonna be all right.
He gonna be all
But
right.
yeah, he gonna be all right. I'm gonna see to it, or I'm gonna die
Oh,
trying.
I meant to tell you, Adonis got into Maryland, man. So he's going to University of Maryland next year for his
Oh, nice.
junior and senior
That's
year. Yeah.
is he going? Is he gonna live on campus?
Yeah, we got him an apartment a couple weeks ago, so he's gonna
Oh
get
yeah.
an
Oh yeah.
apartment.
You're gonna have to have some conversations with him.
Oh yeah, we've already had the conversation. I'm too young to be a granddaddy.
Just
I ain't
say,
playing
look, there's some you marry and some you don't. Know which is which.
facts. Yeah,
Be be on your way, young Jedi.
go forth and prosper. Yes.
All right. Part two. How can men overcome commitment fears? I don't think I think just over time you overcome you see value in different things.
Yeah,
And it's and people I used to hear older dudes say this all the time, and they used to say stuff like, man, it's cool to be with like your best friend. And I used to be like, dude, that's because don't nobody want you anymore. I'm in my prime right now. I they look, my phone is blowing up.
right now.
Yours ain't.
I'll be right back. Let me take a
Yeah.
phone call.
So I thought they were retreating into that
Nah,
frame of mind. And but I learned, and a lot of it is the right woman will bring this out of you, right? The right woman will bring this out of you at the right time. Because I've been with women in my life that were really really good women. I just didn't appreciate it because I didn't even respect myself. So
mhm.
I saw the world through a different set of lenses. But when the time is right, and you have the right woman, I think you will start seeing the value in things that you didn't
Yeah,
see before, and it'll help you not just personally, not just in your relationship, but in business and all the other things.
should help you in every aspect of your life. To be honest with you, the right woman will complement or help you multiply everything that you have. Like
Yeah,
it will
yeah,
help multiply you.
and they'll just make you want to do better.
Absolutely. And that's it. That's multiplying you. That's making
Yeah,
you that much more better, right? So it literally
yeah,
is at whatever situation you're in financially, she should be able to help, like not provide for you as multiplication, but like she is helping you get to that point, or she is, she's assisting in whatever it may be to get to the next level. Like she motivates you, she makes you want to do better, she makes you like those types of things. If you don't have that, if you're not getting that, and you just feel like, I just want to play video games, or I'm good where I'm at. You feel complacent. I feel
Yeah.
like that's not the right person then, because I feel like the right person for me would make me want to do more.
Yeah.
Level up,
And
next
stop
level.
and stop showing your butt on Instagram if we're not if you
Yeah.
yeah, you don't over sexualize yourself. You will get an outcome that you are not happy with. But the outcome that you get will give off the illusion of being the outcome you want.
But that's delusional. That's delusion, because you're asking for one thing. You want a man to do certain things for you, but you're not presenting yourself in that way, right? So
Yeah,
it's
and no,
elevating.
well, so that's what makes it so dangerous. Men
Yeah,
will do things for you when you present yourself
yeah,
in
a
that
certain
way,
way,
but it
right?
will be it's a temporary,
Yeah.
right? It's a temporary situation. It's not long term. So when you get into those situations, and dudes aren't going to tell you, and I'm not going to reach out and tell you, it ain't none of my business. I got
Hmm.
to scroll past 15 pages of chicks looking. By the way, I need to call Instagram and tell them I am not the person I used to be. So stop sending me them suggested profiles.
Can you
You
take
know,
this out my algorithm, please?
so I have evolved, but that's all you see now. It's they just women that over sexualize themselves, and if you want to do that, that's okay. If you need that validation,
Yeah, right.
that's okay. I'm not judging, but at the same time, don't complain about the outcome that you get from doing it because I ain't trying to hear it.
Hmm. No, agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
yeah.
um,
Somebody out there like, you a
yeah.
hater.
Oh,
What's up,
that's
kiddo?
him coming through.
Okay, go ahead and. All right, we got it. Well, I'll get it. It's my 11-year-old. Dad, the delivery person is here. Amazon be here 4 times a day. Shoot,
Why don't
man.
they just come at the one time? Oh shit, because you got the Amazon facilities right there.
You know what I'm saying?
You order it, it come the same day, huh?
Comes on a drone. Now they're
Mm,
sending drones out.
yeah, that's what's up.
All right. Oh wait, is there top 5 powerful ways women can help men feel safe to commit? Oh, I didn't know it was getting into that. Okay. Encourage authenticity over performance. Affirm. I'm gonna read them all and then I'm gonna go back. Affirm his actions, not just his words. Normalize his fears without shaming him. Model healthy boundaries without guilt trips. Show loyalty without making it a test. I think they have some young folks. They have some young folks these. So encourage authenticity. I think both people should be doing that with each other, right? I want to know the real you, not
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
man you think I want you to be. Okay, I would agree with that.
So yeah, I agreed. I completely agree with that one. So my question is, okay, I think that men ask that for women as well. Like, I want to see you without makeup, right? I think I was watching the Red Balloon. Guy was like, he was like, where would you take me on our first date? He was like,
Go over there.
I would take you
Go
to a
tell them
pool
what
or something, and dump you in the pool just so I can see you without no makeup. I was like, what?
Here, Olivia.
He's like, I
Hold on
want
a
to see
second.
who you really
Go
are.
get Olivia. You want to get him? Yeah, she's gonna see if we can get some yogurt.
Yeah, so that's that. I agree. I encourage everybody to be authentic. I mean, if you can't be you, then there's truly no purpose. If you can't be with somebody who is going to, or even again, just try to, you're introducing yourself to somebody. I feel like you have to be you. You should authentically always be you.
You want to,
Again,
man? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. And
Now,
that's to me, that's it. You should definitely just be you. They'll adjust.
yeah, if you can't be you, that's not somebody you want to deal with, and it saves so much time. Like, look, and I've been this way since I was in my late 30s, probably 35. Look, this is the real
Mhm.
me. Even when it wasn't good, this is a real me.
Yeah,
This is it. This is all. This is what it is. And then you get people out of your way quicker, right? Like you don't
yeah,
have to go through that and find out later. So I think everybody should be authentic. Now, if you're if you're authentically a jerk, then don't, right?
that's
But
something different.
if you got good intentions and you treat people with dignity and respect, you should
Yeah,
be your authentic self. It's life is too short to have to be somebody else.
yeah,
Plus, my
and
authentic self is pretty dope.
yeah, I will agree. You, I
I'm dope, super dope. Look at this. I made this.
You all right, dog. You all
Yeah, I
right.
made these.
He's cool as hell. That look at him, man. He out here flexing.
I got 5 of these, all
Yeah.
in different shades. Yeah. All right, we're good. All right, he knows what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Bringing light skin back. Let's go.
Bringing light skin back, boy. If you don't, yeah.
Back in style. No, no, it's crazy because I feel like this is one of the things that like I'm real big on. It's like I will accept somebody for who they are, how they show up, regardless. Because I feel like I've already done that. I've already said that, hey, let's go out on a date, or hey, let's talk. I've accepted you physically for who you are. Now, once I get to know you, there's certain things I either will accept or I won't accept. Real simple. But it's like I'd rather it be you, like you said. I'm not gonna. I'd rather let's get down to the nitty gritty. And like if I don't like you or don't like the things that you do, allow me to make let me go. Allow me to make that
Where you take
decision
them
and
on
say,
dates to?
huh?
Where you take them on dates to? You in DC,
Oh
right?
man, what's that?
You in DC, right? Maryland
No,
or
well, I'm
Baltimore?
an hour outside of DC.
Where you taking the dates to? Like if you was going on a date tonight,
I'll stay at home, man. I do Zooms.
but if you were taking somebody on date, where would you take him? Where would you take him to?
Uh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Chipotle.
I don't go on a lot of dates. So
Yeah, I know you don't go on a lot of dates, but the question is, where would you take him to
I don't
if you
know. I
did?
don't know. A
If
nice restaurant. I don't know a name per se.
which restaurant? You got to pick a.
I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't.
Have you been to a nice restaurant ever? Yes. So
I've been
which
to
one
Olive
did you
Garden.
like? Oh, God. I happen to love Olive Garden. Like what I could get y'all just all this bread?
Can I get some breadsticks, please? Preferably with
Okay.
the.
Shit.
Nah. No, I haven't, man. Last date I went on, I think I went to. We went to like a Japanese steakhouse.
Do you ever so you got to ask them 2 questions. The first one is, one, what restaurant would you like to go to? The next question is, do you have bars where you live? Do you have bars on your windows? If the second answer is yes, we're not going to no steakhouse. Unless it's the Sizzler.
Well, it's different, man. I don't think. Well, I don't know. I don't know if how DC is when it comes to their doors. They definitely. I know in California, like you have a mandate for you got to have bars in certain zip codes.
You want yogurt? Go tell Olivia to get you yogurt. Go tell her to get you yogurt, all right?
No, and then so like these are top 5 ways that top five powerful ways women can help men feel safe
Get your
to
dad so
commit.
you can have yogurt.
Right. One of them was being authentic. The first one was encouraging authenticity over performance. The second one is to affirm his actions, not just his words. I see how hard you're trying. I appreciate the little things you do. So again, I think that's kind of important too. Again, it's just to make a guy feel safe, right? I mean, I know we have conversations about women feeling safe often, but I think it's truly important for for that reciprocation for women to make men feel safe, to be able to kind of let their walls down and allow you to get to know them. You got the whole family there. Hi, Olivia.
I'm a
All the
hunter and a
children.
gatherer. I'm a hunter, not a gatherer.
Come get this kid. He crying. And he need to be changed.
Nah, she's like, "Where's his pants?" I was like, "Look, it's a long story."
He don't like pants. He don't like pants.
You don't
20,
like
15
pants.
years later, we see him running around downtown with no pants
Yeah,
on.
let him be free. Like if I could, I don't like pants either. I just wear them because I'm always on the damn internet.
It's getting away. Pants is getting away.
Yeah. All right, where are we at? Which one are we at?
I did the affirm his action. Or no, yeah, affirm his action, not just his words. Say that I see how hard you're trying. I appreciate the little things you do. Number
I'll
3 is
agree with that 100%. That
years
goes a long
without.
way.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It does go a long way. It's stroking our ego.
It's not.
It's
I don't
making.
even think it's about. So I guess in a sense, but I don't think in a bad way, right? When people say ego, there's a stigma attached to it. But when we most of the things we do, there's no appreciation for, or no expressed appreciation, right? And just saying, hey, I really appreciate what you do, goes a long way
Mhm.
because men typically have to dig, and I'm speaking as an entrepreneur. I'm not speaking as somebody that has the luxury of going to a job every day where all the systems and processes are laid out for them and there's no risk, and it's, you already know what needs to be done and what the outcome is going to be. I'm talking about going out into the world and having to eat what you kill, right?
Yeah.
And it's not always it's not always good experiences every day. So to come home and just to feel appreciated once in a while goes a long, long way. So I'm on board with that one, man.
Yeah. And I also think that I think women have to understand is like, we don't know what your likes are until you tell us. So if we're attempting to do something, like all right, if you don't like flowers, but we send you flowers, and you can't get upset at that. Like, you got to be like, oh, you know what? I appreciate you trying, but I don't like flowers. But I thank you for saying this. These are very beautiful, or whatever it may be, right? Even if it's something like that, I feel like that just has to be acknowledged. Like, don't make him feel bad for doing what he did. Just say, hey, look, this is probably not something, and these are my reasons why. I have met women who have been like that, where it's like, oh, I don't like these things, and and especially if I didn't know or someone didn't know, I feel like that's not fair for someone to kind of take that out on them. You know what I mean?
I feel like then you get nothing.
Fine, then you get
Yeah.
jacked.
Yeah. Who doesn't like flowers? Like I don't hate flowers. Like, it's one thing not to, like, I wouldn't go buy flowers for myself, but I don't dislike flowers.
Right.
When somebody says I don't like flowers, you're a bad person. You get
Well,
nothing.
I've talked to women and they have said like they don't like flowers because they die. So it's like it's one of those things like it's a temporary, like they're kind of like pointless in a sense. They feel as though like we have them for a beautiful time and then they die, and then I
Yeah,
can't do
and then
it.
throw them away. What do you think? There's no flowers that live forever. They're called flowers, right? Right. That's Yes, they die. If you get sad, then don't watch The Lion King. It's a circle of life. Flowers die. If I buy you flowers and you say I don't like flowers, you're a bad person, and that tells me a lot about you. Sorry, I'm sorry.
And this is why you're
Yeah,
already in a relationship right now, because it's definitely not that way all the time.
yeah. Flowers. You don't like
Uh,
flowers.
where we at?
Just
Family
generation.
actions.
The next woman says that, we're gonna bring her on.
You know what, ma'am? I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, ma'am. I
I
heard you
need
hate flowers.
on around this time on Thursday. Let's have a
Yeah.
conversation.
Do you hate puppies too? Mm. And baby
Babies,
dolphins,
yeah.
and sea otters.
Puppies
All
are
right,
stupid. Yeah.
because they
Kittens,
die.
kill all the kittens.
All right, we're back. All right.
Um, let's see. What is it? Okay. Normalize his fears without shaming him. I get that commitment feels heavy. Let's talk about how we can lighten that load.
You
Oh,
shame your man, you're done. There's It's so hard to come back from that. You shame your man, you're done.
yep.
You're done. And he won't always tell you, but he will go out and entertain somebody else that makes him feel like a man,
Mhm.
just so he can keep his household in order. If you shame him, I can't be shamed. I can't be shamed. I'm just not. I'm
You're
just
not
not
doing
cut from
it.
that cloth.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I,
So if y'all
I
haven't noticed, Otis is hard. Like that's how Otis are. Like Otis feels like nothing can get
this is true.
through
Yeah,
to
I get
him.
my feelings hurt though. I could get my
You're
feelings
not
hurt.
gonna get him upset.
Yeah, no, I can get my feelings hurt, but I won't tell you.
Like,
Yeah,
throw him home.
yeah. But I'm in my situation. It's like, hey, ain't nobody leaving, so
Mhm.
I'll just be in my office. I'll be pouting until you come and be like, "What's wrong?" But I'm not gonna be shamed. Donovan, you forget our generation. We used to play our parents called it the dozens. We used to
Yeah,
roast people
your
every
mama,
day.
bruh.
Yeah, we not like it's not. We're not as sensitive as some of the generation that came after us. So if you try to shame me, it's a roasting battle, and you can't
Oh,
roast.
what we doing? This is what we
Is that
doing?
what we doing?
Bet,
Okay,
bet,
all right,
bet.
okay,
All
all
right,
right.
bet.
Why is one of your legs longer than the other? Huh? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see some of
Yeah,
these.
I
Okay,
remember. Yeah, that's definitely like I have no problem going in on somebody. It's like, oh, this, are you sure you want to do this? Is it
yeah,
positive? Positive? Are you sure?
it's hard
All
to
right,
go
let's
in on somebody you love though, because you love them and
go.
you still got to
Mm.
take care of them.
Because you know so much. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
when is too much? Like I'm about to dig in you real quick. Like,
Oh man, yeah, I allow myself to be bullied all the time at home. So I allow because it's cute.
I got I got so much shit on all y'all. Y'all don't even know. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day. I can't wait till I'm 90 years old and looking over. It's like, and yo ass, come here, Junior, come
Hey,
here. Tell you
they
about
get on a roll, man, and start roasting you. Sometimes I got to be like, "Oh, you on one today? Okay, all right, it's
you
all
gotta
right. That was a good one.
let's
That
see.
was a good one." Like, of course, I'm easy to roast. Like, you do my laundry. Like, you got a lot of.
You fold my
You,
underwear. What are you
yeah,
talking
you can't get into a roast battle with somebody that does your laundry on occasion. All right, let's keep going. That's,
about? Model healthy boundaries without guilt trips. I
I
respect
respect
you.
your need for space. Let me
Yeah,
know when you're ready to talk. Oh, yeah, I guess that's the right way to do it.
that's the right way to do it. Yeah.
I don't think those words have ever came out of my mouth in that order, but
I've said that a few times. I've done that. I've done that. I'm like, because I don't like to argue. So I will say, like, I will remove myself from a conversation, especially if I feel like we haven't gotten to that point. But I will say, yeah, I'm going to remove myself from this conversation at this moment. I don't feel it's going to lead to anything productive. So I'm just going to remove myself. I'm not hanging up on you, but I am getting off this phone.
yeah, that's worse. It's like,
I get off the phone.
I don't. How does that work out for you, Donovan?
I hang up, and they call right back, and I'll be like, I
I,
told you,
I,
so good. I get on the phone.
I know
But
they.
I've communicated what I need to communicate. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
just accept it. This is where we're going. This is my boundary. This is my line. I don't want to argue. We're not going to
yeah,
solve this problem. So let's just go
yeah,
ahead and go to our corners,
yeah.
think about it a little bit, and talk for like 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Yes,
We'll be
which
all right.
has never worked on a woman
Yeah,
before.
it
Like
does work. It does work if they listen. Yeah.
they don't. If they listen, okay. What type of Pegasus unicorn woman did you find that was
Uh,
like, you know what? I appreciate you communicating it that way. We're right. Let's tap
as you
out,
should.
reconvene. 20
Good.
minutes.
Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome, ma'am.
I like that. I like that one. Now I think when you've been with somebody so long, you don't have to you don't have to say a lot of this stuff. You just know, right?
Yeah.
You know your person, and sometimes you take a L, and then they come in there. You want some meat? Yeah, and that's the
Right.
sorry. That's the
Yeah,
apology.
but you gotta ask how mad they are when they make the food, though. Like, how mad are you? Like strychnine mad, or you like rat poison? Like, what?
Yeah, it's just like maybe X-Lax man.
Hey,
Like,
can you taste this for me real quick?
yeah, man. See, that's the beauty of being with one person for a very very long time. Is a lot of conversations don't need to be had because you know each other so well, and you can just
Mhm.
be like, I'll I'll tell you, when my feelings get hurt, it's, I'm petty, man. I'm petty. I'm
What's the
petty and
most
violent.
What's the most petty thing you've ever done?
I'm not. I'm petty. I call it petty relative to because I know better, right?
Mhm.
But I'll just be like, hit him with the high five. If it's been 4 days and you ain't done your job, I'll start hitting you with the high five and the fist bump.
What's up,
What's up?
homie?
What's up,
What's
bro?
up, homie? You good?
What's up?
I
You
mean,
catch that
it's just,
game last night? Yeah, that's what I
hey,
do.
hey, you want to catch the game later?
Yeah, you want to go out maybe play some ball or whatever? Or no, you're good. All right,
Since we
stay
roommates.
up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
that seems to work, right?
Yeah.
Since it's such a chore, I'm all right. You good? All right, you know what it is. All
Checking
right,
in, tapping in. That's it.
yeah, yeah. All right, I hit it with one of those. All right,
She get
next one.
mad as hell, I'm sure.
She's like, all right, all right, all
Fine,
right, okay,
okay, fine.
yeah. So I get petty, man. I'll be like, hey, it's been 4 days, 4 days, four. You keep saying the
4
same
days.
number, so it adds more. Four,
Four
four,
days.
almost five. Let's round it up. It's been a week. A week.
Out a week.
Yeah. No, no, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to now. No, no, no. I don't want
I'm
to
good.
now because I gotta ask
I
and
already
beg and plead.
took care of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dramatic. Since I got to beg and plead and beg, I made you the only one. Now you wanted to be the only one. You throw it back in their face. You wanted to. You signed up for this.
You
I
said
told.
you wanted.
Yeah,
You
I
said you
told
wanted.
you. Let's move a little maid in that could fill in the gap. But you were like, no.
Yeah, I'm dying. I'm
I
dying.
think, but I joke a lot, so I could get away with it.
Yeah.
But
No,
anyway,
and I think that's important too. You got to have a sense of humor in your relationship. You got to be able to play around. You should. It don't have to be serious all that. That's just boring. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I couldn't do it.
I'm not even funny anymore to her. Like she's heard all the jokes, all of them.
Whatever.
Here we go again. But when
Yeah, I
we
heard that
we
before.
we do a couple edibles though, is she's a comedian. Start
Gotta be a
roasting me. I was like, okay, all right, you real funny.
hey, babe, remember this? Oh
Oh
man.
man. Oh shoot,
Number
that's her right
five
now.
is show loyalty without making a test.
What
I'm
is it?
here.
Show loyalty without making it a test.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a young couples game. I don't think
yeah, that's stupid. But it's
Yeah,
it's out there.
yeah, at our age, it's been proven already. I don't know what kind of test could you make it? Like what?
Yeah,
And what if you get like a C minus? You still pass. Like, what's the test?
right. You still pass.
All
You
right.
still
I like the next part. I like the dessert. Right.
all right.
That's pretty good. Commitment isn't a trap; it's a choice, and men are more likely to choose it when they feel safe to do so. I would. That's pretty good, man. Look at you. What you've been visiting the Hallmark store? You've been watching Lifetime Channel?
Listen, I do. It's that, and it's actually the Tyler Perry movies have been a help too.
Oh yeah, man. Tyler Perry make light skinned brothers look good in all his movies, huh? Dark skinned
No,
brothers is evil in this movie.
he makes him look terrible because he always gives. I don't know why does he always give light skinned brothers braids or dread? Like I don't understand why he gave
He did that one time with Shamar Moore, and the and the clapback was so severe. No more
Jamal.
braids.
I was like, well, you don't even look right with braids. I know your braids be coming out, man. It's bad. So.
He gave him Jim Jones braids. He looked like he was brushed out. So I'm like, oh, Shamar, you are not doing it, bro.
Those were not good braids. Not even close, Mike. Not even close.
Shout out to Tyler Perry. I love Tyler Perry. I always know what the plot is going to be, whether I see it or not. That's why I love Tyler Perry.
No, man. No, that's pretty much it, man. Though, I know. Yeah, I know we got. I got dinner. I got to make dinner myself. But no, this has been good, man. I hope that people were able to take some. Even though we were joking around in a lot of segments, but it's real. I think that these things require work from both sides. And just to really just come to some sort of reconciliation, and most importantly, is just communicate. Open your mouth, tell it is what you want. Be open and receptive to what's being said, and be heard. Allow that person to be heard, and also be able to express yourself.
Yeah, man, I think an honest conversation, and this is what makes stuff work. If you have somebody that you can have an honest conversation with about no matter what it is, whether it's about finances, whether it's about sexual fantasies, whatever it is, anywhere on the spectrum, I think that you can go from that, grow from that, and get a lot further. When you can't have the honest conversations, then you start building resentment, and resentment just grows over time, right? So, if you can
Yeah,
find somebody that you can having conversation with, I think you be in what they say, tall cotton. You be in tall cotton. That's a baby boomer reference for those that don't know.
talk out. That sound real slavery-ish.
I know,
Um,
man.
I
I
don't know
know.
about that one. Um, I also feel like I think the most important thing is to keep your relationship between you two, not other people. I think that's one of the things that I think is really more normalized, or like this seems to be a little more normal now. Is like they want to your relationship is like either on social media or other friends. You're constantly having these conversations about your relationship with other people, and I feel like that's not the place to be having conversations about your relationship. Your conversation should be with the other person.
Yeah, I think that's just a maturity level, right? Like we should know that you hurt by looking at your social media. And you got captions up there like, starting over, still finna do me. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Right? You're just making yourself look bad. All right, be an adult. Deal with your stuff. Don't look for validation for the rest of the world. Nobody cares. Right? Go to the gym. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that last one. But you get it. Right? But we got a lot of kids out here running things now, man. Kids is running things now. This is, ain't got no money, but the 500,000
Absolutely, man.
followers. All right, let
It
me
is.
stop.
They run the internet. They rule it. It's there to rule. So
All right. All right. I
yeah.
think we're going to wrap it up.
But
I
yeah, man.
appreciate you,
I think it's
man.
been a great topic of discussion. I'm starting.
We got somebody upset. All my
Absolutely.
credibility
So
is
listen,
shot.
we're gonna sign off. If you want to follow us on the podcast,
Go ahead, man. I was like,
there's a delay, so I'm not getting you here. It's
oh, I thought you was like, we're gonna sign off. So
I
if you
don't know.
want
Go ahead and sign us off, man.
you paused and I was like, oh, he about to go deep with it. He just caught the Holy Ghost. All right, everybody. We're about to sign off, but Full Menu Podcast, go ahead and follow us on what is it? Is it at Full Menu Podcast on Instagram? And do we have a TikTok page?
Yeah, the Full Menu Podcast. Yep.
All right,
We got
follow
a
that
tick.
too.
We don't. I think we do. Yeah, we do have a TikTok page. We got TikTok, IG, YouTube, all that.
We need to get on top of it.
We official, dog.
Well, I know we gotta get on top of it. All right, everybody, we signing off. All right, Donovan, man, I appreciate you, brother.
All right,
You got to salute back. It's not there. You
sir.
go. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good evening.
LA Cats, man. I tell you.